Ladies and gentlemen, the boyhood dream come true. I just stole that from Stevie Richards right before we got off the air. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Chris Featherstone. This is another episode of the Legion of Raw. So here's the deal, man. You know, I usually do this originally with Road Warrior Animal, and he's unfortunately passed away. And a suitable replacement in the original Bro of Bros, Vince Russo, he's getting old, so he had to get his eyes checked out. So, listen, we went traditional Survivor Series team tonight. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on Sportskeeda's own Greg Bush. How are you tonight, sir?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me back.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. So from the RussoBrand.com, independent wrestler, he knows how to do some collar and elbows, and he knows how to talk you down and emasculate you as well. Ben Hamin, how are you tonight, sir?
What's up, Doc? Can we rock? We're back here at Sportskeeda Live, man. Glad to be joining you. Russo brand in effect. We're going to definitely keep it PG, but keep it raw like we always do.
Amen. I like it, man. And former WWE Hardcore Champion, ECW legend, coming in as the pinch hitter, Stevie. How are you tonight, sir?
Thank you for stealing the one funny line I had all year. I was waiting to break that out, but the boyhood dream comes true.
Yeah, yes, indeed, man. All right, man. So let's just do kind of a 30,000-foot view on Raw, man. Let's start off with Ben Hamin. What are your thoughts on the go home show for Survivor Series?
You know what? You guys win. You win. I tap out. I don't know how much more we can suffer through. Like it is Guantanamo Bay wasn't this bad. That was like a 5-star vacation when I was there compared to what I've got going on now week to week, man. I mean, there's a couple of high points in the wrestling, but in a 3-hour show, just the brutality and the consistency and punishment ribs or over scripted things, which I'm sure we'll go through the segments in Hurt Business, just brutally like root canal level bad. You know what I mean? Like that now. So, to see things happen that are just so written in such a strange way, man, I just don't understand how they can kill the cool of guys who have it naturally.
Yeah. Greg?
Yeah, man. Like you said, 3-hour show and only a few great things to talk about. The title matches were good, but aside from that, it was a long one. Like, it hit 9:10, and I was like, this show has only been on for an hour. Good Lord. What is happening?
Yeah, I feel like that every week. So, Stevie?
My boyhood nightmare has come true.
That's a good line, too.
You see this device right here that usually tomorrow morning I'm able to fast forward through a lot of stuff. It didn't have that capability tonight. I had to watch the whole 3 hours, and Ben is beaming right now because this is his receipt.
This is the big receipt because I'm the one who watches it in real time. Not that this guy hasn't paid more than enough dues to not have to do that, but obviously we're Russo Shogun, and we're here to maintain that brand. So if that means going through it minute by minute and making sure we're here for the late show, that's what we're going to do to represent, man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, so let's start off with Drew McIntyre cutting an in-ring promo. This is kind of a carryover from SmackDown. He pops up on Friday night. He said he was passing town, actually, and, hey, Amway Center, passing town. I wonder what's going on Friday nights. So, obviously, he didn't really know what's going on Friday nights, and Roman Reigns just buried Raw in one line by saying he doesn't watch it. And then Hamin says, you're not missing much. So there goes Raw right there. That's the show, folks. that's all we got. So
they're not lying when they say that either, though.
Like this. Exactly. So Drew comes in. He gets interrupted by Randy Orton. And then Miz and Morrison. So that was that segment. I mean, Greg, what are your thoughts on Miz and Morrison's continuing to kind of be that petty, that petty type of, annoying little brother in this feud going on right now?
I think both of those guys evolved past what they're doing now years ago. It feels like we've gone back in time a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's just, like I said, it's annoying. And it's not – there's annoying in a good way when you're watching wrestling. There's annoying in a bad way. And this is annoying in just the worst way. I don't want to see them near Drew. I don't want to see them near Randy. I don't really want to see this.
Yeah. Ben?
What is the dynamic between those two? Would you ever take Jim Morrison and put him in a triple-breasted suit when a guy's got a body like a Greek Adonis? No, you show his abs because women want to lick maple, and some guys do probably want to lick maple syrup off his abs. That's what the money is there. So let's cover him up fully and make him look like a banker from 1970. That's the way to go with that.
Yeah.
And then whatever they're doing with the annoyance call and answer thing is so
correct.
Yeah, it's so completely overscripted because it's a bit. It's an Abbott and Costello bit or whatever they're trying to do with it. And Miz is gonna, for his family and for the deal he has, a smart guy. That guy, I said this earlier in the locker room, doesn't get nearly enough respect. That guy's been on TV for 22 years without a year off. Wow. Take that into account compared to every other superstar there from Real World Road Rules. He's been clocking a check since then. So that's respect alone, regardless of whatever garbage they hand you to got to go out and get it over, So he got tired of playing with Otis. They took the money in the bank off him. Like you said, they are reaching for something in the past right here. And whoever the writer is has a nostalgia fetish from 2008 to 2012, where that's when they started wrestling and they thought it was good, or else they think that's where the baseline for the ratings should be. So we're going to go back to that. That's why we have Edge and Orton and those guys in that cut instead of doing what they need to do, which is go back to completely controversial, completely water cooler talk. You can't miss this type of stuff. And which is 1997, 96 era, and we're so far away from that what is a guy in a pink jacket who's a father doing some correct? Like who can relate to that and who cares about that? Nobody, especially in a high stakes scene with your champions.
That's true. Money in the Bank. You're supposed to look the part of the main event, not some annoying little brother type of in this feud. Stevie?
Well, going with the Miz thing, like 5 minutes after this show goes off the air, he's showing as a very likable character. So it's not even in line with what USA Network is paying for 2 shows. So you need some consistency. The Drew thing is very confusing. I love the package they did later in the show between him and Orton. They shouldn't have seen either one of those guys on this show until the match and played packages like that throughout the 3 hours. Drew started out his promo as Vince McMahon, welcome everybody to WrestleMania 3. Then he turned into a comedian. Then he turned into an ass kicker. You can't be he was all 3 in one segment. So you know what it makes me do? Not care about anything. It's very confusing.
Yeah, it is.
What are those guys? What are Miz and Morrison, the relationship? I mean, what am I supposed to liken that to in an archetype of anything I've seen before?
Well, if you watch Miz and Mrs., you'll know. That's the thing. They aren't even watching that show to get the way to book them on TV.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really interesting of why they want to put Miz in this situation right now. He has the Money in the Bank. He has a year to cash it, or they didn't even really say what the stipulation is, if he has a new calendar year or if his year just kind of tacks on from past July from when Otis won. So we don't know what the stipulation of that is, but I still think, regardless, I still think there's some time to really kind of get Miz away from this. I mean, even if it's some type of stipulation for the Money in the Bank for someone else or something like that, it just really, and the thing is, he beat them both. He beat them in a handicap match. That just goes to show how irrelevant the Miz is as far as the world title picture. Ben, you got something to say?
Yeah, I would say you're spot on with that. To beat them both and marginalize them and take them down a level, like, oh, big deal. Is he going to win or not? And it's not going to be believable when he does. It's only going to be a flash in the pan for some PR stunt, possibly for his other show.
Yeah.
to waste all that time on there, whether it's Otis or give him another year or anything along those lines, it's not going to pay off in anything that means anything. So why are we just wasting the time? And that's what Stevie says. Why do I care about this? Because I know it's not going to. And Bret Hart told Vince this, and Vince has passed along on a bunch of shows. I'm never going to say that I'm going to win the match if I know I'm losing, because it makes me look bad when I do that. Well, Miz said, I believe, if I heard him right, by the end of the night, I'm going to have my hands on the WWE Championship. By the end of the night, he was nowhere in the picture to do any of that. So I'm thinking, all right, is this arrogant and cocky, like annoying heel going to be the man of his word? And after the big thing, he comes out and has a little weaselly way to get in there. No, we just went off strong with the guys and forget about what we set up 3 hours ago in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, just the very thought of Miz versus Roman, it just seems so much of a gap. You know what I mean? Like, at least Orton and Drew is within Roman, because Roman's the hottest thing in pro wrestling to me right now, hands down. But just Roman Miz, it just feels like a huge gap. Yeah. Next we got Asuka and Mandy, Rose and Dana Brooke against Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler and Lana. It ends with the baby faces winning. Lana somehow was trying to get some type of credibility or some type of street cred or something like that by being a part of their team. Ends up to a Samoan drop number 8. Stevie, why is this happening to Lana every week?
I might defer that to Ben, but I wanted to say first and foremost, anytime if you get your arm broken on the steps, I'm going to, after the match, dance in the ring with somebody else and not give a damn about you, because you're one of my best friends. And that's what happens.
Well, I can't deny the world of your dancing abilities. I've got to say, Stevie, go dance. Dance for us both now, Stevie.
Well, now you dance for the people watching and listening and tell them why Lana is going through a table each and every week. He sums it up perfectly.
I don't have a doctorate, but it was 9 tables, and this was the 9th one. And this goes back to, we may see Alexa Bliss and or Aleister Black going through tables in the next week or two.
Oh, yeah.
Because this goes back to her and Miro being, on social media and putting it out there, and it leaking that they got engaged, and it wasn't cleared by the office or whatever it is when they're trying to do a storyline where he was with the other broad. So that's where the heat starts. And then he goes on the downhill spiral from there. We get the rib wedding stuff, and that's all a joke. And we get all types of punishments until we get to this 9 weeks of putting her through a table. Yeah. Next up will be a Thanksgiving buffet table. Mark my words.
Oh, for sure.
You're not going to miss the fat joke and the getting through the table in the same segment when you can do that. You're going to cash in on both of those. Absolutely. So the saga continues, Wu-Tang, with putting her through tables every week. And meanwhile, her husband, who should know better, is going on podcasts and selling for it. Yeah. Is getting right back to the office where they're going.
Continuing to feed, to fuel the fire. Just
the reality is the conspiracy. Maybe he hates his wife. And he
no. The way it's presented on TV, I just saw it tonight. If you love a person, you care about them, and they end up going through a table or breaking their arm on the steps, you dance.
You dance for it.
So maybe he's dancing at home because that's how he shows love in 2020.
That's true. I see that. Greg, what's going on here, man?
Dude, 9 tables, right? What's the point? What's the point of all this? Like, I know that, Rusev's Miro's doing all that stuff, talking and kind of getting her in trouble, I guess, if that's the story. But 9 weeks in a row. Yeah. That can't be funny or interesting for anybody. I know the point is supposed to be to make us feel bad or feel sympathy, but I just don't care. Yeah. No one cares. And then at the end of the match, she's sitting there on the apron, and Nia just like, I'm not going to put you through a table. You earn my respect. Good job. Yeah. Why did you fall for this?
Every time I see this, I'm like, okay, so we're supposed to think that the Raw women's team is worth watching. Is worth anything. I'm like, they're continuing to diminish my interest in the Raw team, and then just their credibility, because first of all, you have Lana, who won a battle royal, and she's a part of the team after getting 9 tables, still part of the team. She's trying to earn, she still seems like she's trying to earn her way on the team, and she's already on the team, and then they don't want her on the team, and then they're injuring Mandy Rose, and there's no cohesion, and we're supposed to be a team for Survivor Series. Stevie, based on your WWE experience, why do you think, just kind of knee-jerk go home segments, just last minute changes like this happen? How would you theorize why Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, two people who they seem like they're trying to make some type of investment in, gets replaced by a very cold Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans?
Well, this would come down to a 74-year-old madman that owns the company, and I would say, well, we're going to go to him in a second over here. He'll be able to answer this. I want to say this too, just a question, Chris, since you really know like the order of everything going in the Survivor Series. Ask everybody a question. What's at stake? Why are they all fighting? Why do you want a spot on the team? Why is this so important that you're willing to, you don't want anybody to cost you this particular match?
Yeah.
There's
nothing.
Pride. It's the old indie like joke for the battle royal that has nothing. Pride's on the line.
Yeah. And even from the old school battle royal, like if you think about like Survivor Series of '87, right? So Survivor Series really was hinged on Hogan versus Andre. So Hogan had some colleagues, Andre had some colleagues. It was really for the purpose of continuing to add layers into their feud. So he had, both of them had allies to be willing to help each other, defeat, their rivals. But and that's how it was when you would have the cheesy names that were really cool. It was to have, hey, I'm gonna have my boys with me to add layers to my rivalry. I can't really think, and Vince and I talked about this recently, I can't really think of anything since like 2014 when Sting came back. When Sting came, that gave me a reason to want to watch anything related to Survivor Series, and it makes me very sad.
And they worked their hardest to make sure you didn't want to watch it after that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Ben,
let's go to Ben. It's not Ben.
Yeah, pal. I mean, you don't want one of these nice red shirts with USA on them, pal? Look at that. They're damn nice. You're going to get it. And then it's always goes back. Who will survive? It's Crips versus Bloods. It's red versus blue. It's a tale as old as time. It's in our DNA, pal. It drew money once in '87. It'll draw money again. We'll beat it like a dead horse. And then when it dies, we'll bring it back to life again. Yeah. And that's what it is, man. Some Fox versus USA. Mm-hmm. I'd rather just see the Fox executives in USA exactly. The parking lot. Let them go fight. I'd rather see that at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
The prestige of being on the Raw women's team for Survivor Series. I mean, that's and now into the Hall of Fame. You'll remember from Survivor Series 2020 the prestige when she made that team. Like, no, that's never going to be anything. So we're just wasting time, wasting tons of money. We talked about this on the Fox side, and we actually did a breakdown of it, of the amount that they're paid overall per 15-minute segment comes down to about $650,000. Was that about it, Stevie? I believe
$3.8 million an episode.
No, per that $650 an hour, not about 95,000 per segment. I think it came down to. Think about what 95 grand would get you, and think about some of the 5-minute segments we've seen. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And then they're not even using the rest of that budget to go outside of the arena, do something special, maybe Thunderdome. But you can take those LEDs back to Best Buy on a 30-day thing and just get all new ones and pull that gimmick if you need to. So, it's just them moving money around and taking it out of the stock price or whatever, but it's not going back into the show. I will say it did go back in the show tonight. We saw Pyro return.
He did.
So that was a little step up, but I think it was Cody's entrance on AEW that forced him to do that. to me. Not to be outdone. So
yeah, I can see that.
mhm.
Next we get Dana Brooke. Well, Dana Brooke was attacked backstage by Reckoning, aka Mia Yim, and
Good job, Brett.
yeah. Then we get Firefly Funhouse. I'm old school, man. I'm a clear cut babyface, clear cut heel guy. I mean, I just, first of all, you have to already convince me that this is worth watching. That you got half naked man in tights, and so now I have to further suspend my disbelief to believe that the punches and the kicks and all the storyline, all this is just sucking me in. So I like heroes and villains. I want but they got Bray in a really weird spot right now. He's kind of, they're kind of putting him in the babyface role with Randy, and then he's kind of heelless with Bliss kind of going to him with Nikki Cross. And so it's really, really difficult of where the Fiend is right now. And there's rumors now of we might see Edge versus Fiend at Mania, which actually I would prefer much more than Edge and Orton for the title. I'm glad that they didn't do that because I definitely don't want to see that. Stevie, what are your thoughts on where the Fiend is right now?
I have no idea. This will be character 2 and 3 that they will creatively destroy. It's already become immensely stale.
Oh, yeah.
They added the girl in there, which you could say, okay, you added her in there and gave it another layer, but just as much that can make the whole thing jump the shark because now you have to have a whole different dynamic. And she's doing a great job. But when you're trying to get all these things over at the same time and you're trying to make us decide if we like or hate somebody, people are thinking way too much as it is in 2020. We just want to sit back, relax, and enjoy something so nothing will get over. And as we said before, I'm done. This is too confusing. And I used to like the Fiend, and now I'm going to go watch football.
Yeah. Greg?
Yeah, it's like you said, Bray's kind of in this weird face position while Alexa's dealing with Nikki. Raw is full of heels. So I guess that's why they want Fiend to be a face. But it just, none of this makes sense when you're kidnapping and brainwashing people, when you're repeatedly killing a puppet rabbit every single week. It just, why are you supposed to cheer for this guy?
Yeah, agreed. I don't know. I don't know. Ben, you got an answer for that?
Well, I mean, not only is it jump the shark, where were we 2 weeks ago with telling the audience to go F themselves? And going blue with it, you know what I mean? Where they wanted to do that for shock value. Now they tied Lexi into it, and she's, as hot as can be, so you don't take your eyes off her. But, we're trying to create this reality or pseudo-reality of Firefly Funhouse. Meanwhile, WWE's over here congratulating her online for getting engaged and stooging that stuff off on her Instagram. So putting in a main storyline that could make you and create all new merchandise for you right before Christmas, super smart to go into business for yourself and show that none of that reality is real. I'm Lexi over here, and it's the best day of my life because my boyfriend proposed to me, everybody. And
remember what it did, the history, there's a precedent. We just mentioned Lana and Rusev.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Whether it's her, she could be the next one because these guys spend hours in these creative rooms coming up with these. Think about the hours they spend just to come up with this drivel. And then just for somebody to undo that within one tweet in an afternoon after you spent 4 weeks trying to craft something, bro, that's enough to put your fist through a wall every day. You know what I mean? So they don't care when on social media. So that lowered me caring about anything she's doing on camera because she's not caring about creating this reality that we're supposed to buy into. Because over here, I just play that character. That's just on TV when I'm doing that for 3 hours. This is who I really am. Well, let that pay for your life then.
Yeah, right. Let him pay for everything.
Exactly. How over you are without the WWE brand behind you. And it's not me going to bat for the office. That's me going to bat for the fans who want to invest their time and believe in these characters and say, I'm giving my time to you. I'm glad you're in there. Now give me something back. Okay, I like your performance, but whoops, on the 360 media landscape that we all operate in this universe in, you don't care at all, do you? So now I don't care at all, do I?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I've noticed a difference within Bray's fighting style. He seems very fiendish in his wrestling style now. I liked how the dynamic was when the Fiend first came. It was like Bray was totally different than the Fiend. But now, since we're seeing a lot of similar qualities, he's doing the upside down thing. He's doing the comeback when Miz was on the ropes. At first, when the Miz was feuding with him, it was kind of like he was playing like he had the Waylon Mercy type of thing with him, but at the same time, it was a lot of distinctions between him and Fiend. It was like Fiend was more of a I'm going to get Big Brother to come get you type of thing. You know what I mean? But now I see a lot of similarities, and it's kind of diminishing my care about the Fiend because I'm seeing a lot of fiendish similarities in Bray wrestling himself, and it's giving me more disinterested. Ben?
The wrestling should be different. When he's Mr. Rogers, he should wrestle. He's a babyface character, even though we know he's really a heel. Mm-hmm. So he shouldn't be striking or doing anything vicious. Right. He actually should be wrestling, then getting out wrestled and having a reaction like, "Oh, you got me. Mm-hmm. You got me on that one." And then when the Fiend needs to come around and flip the script on him, that's when you go full eye gouge, viciousness on a guy. So it's very important to have two different wrestling styles for those. And now, think about how many, Stevie said it, think about how many times this guy's ideas have been through the grinder. Like brilliant high-level things that you have to try to explain to McMahon and Bruce, and they just get lowered, lowered, and lowered until we get this D-level stuff. He's got to be burnt out by it, absolutely. So once we get to that, now we're just kind of mailing in the performance, and those worlds, because we didn't protect that reality of the good Mr. Rogers and the hardcore Fiend, they blend together, and now it's all just kind of a mosh and really doesn't mean as much.
Agreed. New Day is against the Hurt Business. I like the Hurt Business because I like the fact that they're true heels. People just don't like them. I don't like the 50-50 type of booking. I'm a personal fan of the New Day, so I like the match. The match was enjoyable, but at the same time, it still, again, didn't lead to anything. I mean, okay, so whoever wins the tag team title, we're going to represent Raw for what stakes? It just, again, it's all this. You're kind of going against each other for the title to defend Raw for nothing. You know, Greg, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, like I said, the match was good. But it just, I told you this a few weeks ago. This pay-per-view is just so pointless.
Yeah.
I would have rather seen Hurt Business versus the Street Profits just so we could actually have a face-heel dynamic.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
At least. We're not going to get that. And, New Day and the Profits will be fine. But again, like you said, what's the point? What is the point? And that's the build to Survivor Series every year. It's just to represent brand loyalty when most of the people that are on these brands swapped a month ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So where's the loyalty anyway?
Yep. Ben, we're seeing bragging rights all over again, man. Are you excited?
I can't wait. I mean, the jerk business is red hot. The jerk business punchline just has everybody dying laughing, and can't wait for those jerk business t-shirts. I want to throw it back to you because Stevie and I have talked about this on Russo's brand with the Raw and SmackDown review. And, I expect you to represent the entire African-American culture here with your answer, and everything you say resides on it. So we're about
no pressure.
Yeah. we're just like, okay, here we have a group of thoroughbred African-American athletes, educated men, military, guys who can all get it done physically. Role models. Absolutely. You've got the ballers thing built in, which it was supposed to be in the original. And then it turns into a blinged out Black Lives Matter for a minute. And now it's just a group of guys who stand in a line and repeat guys that words that a 74-year-old white man wrote for them. And now you can just feel it. And they've made those guys so uncool when they are the coolest guys probably on the roster back there. But what Stevie and I think is so tone deaf in this era of what you're doing if we have BLM in the streets and Antifa and Proud Boys, why is it black on black violence every week almost? Drew Gulak was the only one, and they just did that in a quick beatdown thing. Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews, Ricochet. I just don't we had a real issue, but it's, you know, when it's two guys who aren't in that crew saying it doesn't mean as much. I'd really like to hear your opinion on that. Is that something we're just seeing and perpetuating, or do you feel that too?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because Vince said that a few weeks ago on this show, and you know, I'm the type of person that my doctorate's in psychology, so I'll take what someone says and I'll just super analyze it. You know, I'm not a yes man. You know, off the hand, I'll just take it, I'll digest it, kind of, you know, marinate on it, and so when he said that, I consider. I said, okay, that's an interesting theory, and then the next week, it was the Titus thing. It was the Titus beatdown, you know, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm noticing a trend here. And then the Ricochet beatdown, I was like, okay. So I'm noticing a trend here, and I do see the fact that I kind of backtrack. I kind of backlogged all the matches before that, and I said, yeah, Apollo, Ricochet, Titus. Oh, interesting. And then Titus, you know, trying to. Two times trying, you know, if the first time trying to be a part of the camp backstage and basically gets ragdolled and, you know, just look like a second-class citizen.
And they could have said yes, and that would have been a wonderful choice to bring him in.
Out of all the guys, too, to be honest, somebody like Titus, just because he grabbed his arm, he's still getting punished for it.
Yeah, a 6'5" football stud. I mean, looks like
the guy does everything. Dad of the year.
Yeah.
So what they should be to, and I don't want to go with whatever, you know, to label a bunch of people, but you know, if there are kids who are looking for role models, there's 5 of them right there. But instead, we got them being heels when the whole of it was, we've been marginalized as clowns for too long. Bobby Lashley talking out his ass and literally doing talking out of his ass. And then, you know, whatever he had to do on the jungle gym and run the obstacle course of the Rock and Robin transgender sister stuff. Like, what is really going on with the perpetuation of a strong black male stereotype? And then we also get to Black History Month, and the voiceover for Martin Luther King Day is done, and everything is done by Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, yeah.
And the other guys are standing in the background as they're asking him the question, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
it blows my mind, man. I just wanted to put that back in your court as the educated man to hear your opinion on it.
Very, very relatable. Vince makes things very relatable for people of my kind. Ben, he makes me feel so fluffy inside, and everything's so relatable.
Wait, McMahon? You talking about McMahon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you were Asian, you'd be being perpetuated as a Pearl Harbor fighter pilot.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Or a kabuki psychopath. Like,
well, they're not. They're heading over to Europe with the Scotland guy, the Scottish and the Irish. They're not leaving anybody out.
Yeah, last week when they had the thing with Drew and Sheamus last week, they went the promo had to end on, and we'll drink some whiskey and scotch, and we'll have a keg. Like, you got to go right to the drunk. You got to go right to that as well. Yeah. Those guys look like they've had a beer in 5 years. I don't think so.
That's a good point there. Next, well, I appreciate you deferring it to me as far as that opinion, and like I said, to put a cap on that, man. I definitely see a trend there, and I hope that, you know, I'm like, my thing is I just want them to succeed. So I'm like, I told Vince last week, I said, look, I've been saying this for the past few weeks. If it was my choice, I would have Lashley as world champ, MVP as US champ, and then Cedric and Shelton as tag team champs. I would have them just corner the whole Raw market. For a while, they were the hottest thing going on at the infancy of it. They just kept losing. This Retribution thing just didn't make sense. It was just two big heel feuds. It just didn't make sense at all. Who am I going to like? Who am I going to dislike? It just didn't make any sense whatsoever. I like your idea. Like, you said it, Vince said it too. I always prefer Lashley as a babyface anyways. But I like the ruggedness that he has because he's not a good mic guy. And we saw that Shelton isn't either, as we saw with him slipping up at, by saying someone's name.
American Top Team stuff and Impact was awesome the way they had him built up.
It was. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, ideally, I would just have them corner the market, man. And even if MVP wants to be the player coach, or if he just doesn't wrestle any at all, I mean, you can. I don't see why you just couldn't put Titus in there, man. It just didn't make sense.
MVP's the Don, like a young, sexy Don King. Like Don King wouldn't get in and become Intercontinental Champion. He's getting high money deals done where everybody else, no, you're not short. We're not taking no shorts no more. So we see him putting the pressure on McMahon. Use that white guilt on him to get the payday. Use it, like all that should be in there, all that baller stuff, and we're so far away from that. What that should be building towards is him versus Brock Lesnar in a real shoot, and we're not even close to that. So I've been saying that for a long time, man. I think I still don't understand why in the world we're not anywhere close to seeing Lashley versus Lesnar. That just doesn't make any sense. They said when you come back here, you're going to have to do some time and punishment. They said that, and Lashley's like, yeah, I know.
Wow.
Why would you do? We're just going to have to leave $5 million on the table to teach you a lesson. Why?
Wow. That's quite sad.
And I hate to say it and take it this far because this is extreme, but isn't that some, like, you want to go back to a master slavery type situation of somebody, I'm going to teach you a lesson and break you and break your spirits, man. And that's where I have an issue with that. When you have a property that you've invested in and you're willing to ruin them, that's taking a Kentucky thoroughbred racehorse that can win the Kentucky Derby and putting it out in the fields to be broken plow in the fields. You know what I mean?
And Lashley is absolute money. I mean, he's absolute money. Dude's he's a stud. He's a star. I mean, he looks the part. He wrestles the part. I mean, he just needs a stick man. And he has one now. So I mean, he's a stud, man. Next we have Retribution versus Team Raw. Again, I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense to me. Again, another team. AJ's trying to be the captain. They don't like each other. They can't be cohesive leading toward Survivor Series, which already doesn't have a stake. To me, okay, so here's the thing. If ideally, this is what I would do with Survivor Series. If you had to just make some type of last-minute changes, I would say the winner between those two stipulation teams, December's a throwaway pay-per-view usually. I would say the winner of their respective team gets a 5-way with the champion of the brand. I think that would be the ideal thing because at least it brings a stipulation. At least it's bringing a collective, a collection of people together to fight for something. Like, first of all, if I'm Sheamus and I can't get along with Braun Strowman, why do I want to be on Team Raw? What's the point of being on Team Raw? Okay, so, and if I'm AJ, what am I captaining? What's the end of this? Stevie Richards, get us out of this, man. What's going on here?
I repeat my question from earlier. What's at stake at Survivor Series that making these guys literally they're acting like children and they're all acting selfish and greedy and egotistical. There's no baby faces at all on any of this team. And then
except for Riddle's Keith Lee-ish.
But Ali's the leader because he smiles. Like, you gotta smile, as Vince would say. You gotta smile. What's at stake? I would at least try something for Royal Rumble. Whoever gets the pin is number 30 at the Rumble. I would give anything. But how dare you, Chris, by the way? How dare you just sit there and say that you hope for a 5-way women's match on Raw and Smack? These poor girls, you're going to kill somebody, man.
Hey, look, as long as it is with a spot of Lana being through a table, no.
They did when the girls come out for a fatal 4-way. I hold my breath because it might be a real thing.
There actually is big stakes on the line for each team that wins because those coveted spots for the winning team are for the next time they go to Saudi Arabia. You get to be in the top 20 that flies home on the private jet if you win at Survivor Series. There is a big Survivor. You may not get out of Riyadh next time.
Unfortunately, yeah. There just has to be something at stake. I mean, even if it's like I said, December's the throwaway pay-per-view. I just don't. I mean, at least if you're going to make something out of Survivor Series, at least do something with at least the next Raw or something. Give me something as a fan. Give me something to look forward to. There's nothing as far as Survivor Series coming this Sunday as a fan. There's nothing at stake, as Stevie has asked, and no one has the answer to the question, and seemingly Vince doesn't either, because there's nothing at stake. As a fan, I'm watching this, and I'm saying, what? What am I saying? There's nothing to say. There's nothing at stake.
Because you're asleep.
Yeah. Or you're watching
I want to say
Sunday Night
one
Football.
quick thing. We and Greg, I'm sorry, we're talking and taking up much of the time.
That's cool, man. Go ahead.
But they need to turn on the TV. They could have had this entire thing mirror the election year, mirror campaigning, get Vince McMahon reelected. Then Survivor Series could just lead into the recount era where now Survivor Series, the teams, just like that one year, who controls WWE? Who controls the share of the shows? Who has to deal with the money and all that? Whatever you want to phrase it, they could have built that up for 11 months. Yeah. And then when the election went sideways, hey, we got a few extra weeks of TV. We can just keep going. You don't do that.
Greg, what? Help us out, man. Come on, play cleanup for us, man. What are we doing here? Where are we at?
We have 6 days until Survivor Series. So the best thing you can do is, I think, go off of what Stevie said, which is like the winner of their elimination matches, give them spots in the Royal Rumble. Like if Team Raw wins, then like they'll get 26 through 30. That's the best I can think of short term, because if you're just going to try to give us something to look forward to, that's the best you can do in 6 days. It's just there's just no point in this show. There's no point in watching the build. There's no point in watching Raw, SmackDown.
Yeah. And
even last year we had NXT. Like, that was at least giving us something to look forward to as far as seeing a new brand and new stars get built up. We don't even have that this year.
Yeah, and that made Keith Lee look like a star. He looked a lot better than he does now, actually.
Yeah, that worked out great. That worked out fantastic.
It's more of an adverse effect than actually helped him nowadays. But even with the 26-30 thing, first of all, it's sad that we're actually trying to figure out a reason to watch Survivor Series. I think that makes it just very bad. But even with the 26-30 thing, the thing is with the Royal Rumble, it's all about, as a fan, it's all about the element of surprise. That's what makes the Royal Rumble cool, right? So we know that out of 30 people, less than a handful of people are actually probably going to win the Royal Rumble. So it's all about who's going to be number 30. It's going to be a surprise at 12. There's going to be a surprise at 17. So even if that happens, if I know the 26-30, I'm just going to be so checked out of the latter half of the Royal Rumble. And it's sad. I think that was a good idea. But even if the 30 spot, the winner gets the 30 spot, I'm going to be checked out of the Royal Rumble because I'm like, okay, well, I know it's going to be 30 now. You know what I mean? So there's something that needs to be done.
What about reversing it? If you lose the Survivor Series match, you're number 1.
1-5. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I've got real and even bigger stakes if you want to put it on there real quick for a match. Winning team gets to keep their Twitch channel.
Now we got to watch it.
Now we got to watch it.
People are shooting on each other.
Team suggests a union in the locker room.
There you go. And you get fired within 10 minutes. It's interesting that you say Twitch and union. Both of them have to do with Zelina Vega. That's she got released because she didn't want to let go of her Twitch. And then, she got some heat with the union tweet too. So both of that has to do with Zelina Vega. Just as we're going through here, quick thoughts on that real quick. We'll start with Stevie on the Zelina Vega issue.
Well, there's no question. I mean, this has been fought for so many years and decades underneath. I think there's 19 characteristics to determine between an independent contractor and an employee, and like 15 out of the 19 are employee for WWE. I speak on that. I've seen the death clause firsthand. There'd been talks about it, but I've actually seen the death clause, and it's in big bold letters too. But yeah, they're employees to the letter of the law. They have been employees, but for some reason, maybe it's an $18.5 million super PAC. Maybe it's some kind of payoff. Maybe it's just because no senator's son or daughter has ever broken their neck in a WWE ring. We don't have any kind of, we'll see if Andrew Yang in 2021 follows through with his promise, or if it's just a bunch of hyperbole. But let's stop kidding ourselves about what we are and having was it Alexa Bliss, Ben and Greg and Chris, that gave the political answer about that it
was Alexa.
Yeah.
And you just destroy your own credibility
on podcasts. She shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Giving towing a company line when she's playing a mythic character now. It's absolutely is.
And I agree with you there, Ben, as far as, staying within character. I just think, here's the thing. That doesn't necessarily require Vince having a grip on you. You should care about that stuff. You know what I mean? Just as a character, you care about your job, and your job is to make us believe in your character. You know what I mean? And that's the way it should be. And you signed up for that. You know what I mean? So you know what you signed up for.
You'd be no one without it. You wouldn't be making 30 grand on Twitch without that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you guys real quick how even though I never sniffed a main event or stayed within a main event program or anything, I cared every bit, if not more, because I knew my money was limited. I knew my time it never escaped me the fragility of my spot within any company in any part of wrestling. Even on the independents, it's like you get paid when you work, that kind of stuff. So I understand that as an independent businessman all my life. But it just seems like these people, I think Ben and I have talked about it, they're way too comfortable. They treat it like it's, I'm going to get paid this for 25, 30 years and have a retirement. They're living so large and almost not job scared, if that makes sense.
From the littlest girl to the biggest monster among men doing it.
Yeah.
As well. You know what I mean? It's not just it's not just in one little sect in wrestling. It's rampant, bro.
Yeah, agreed. Next, we get a segment with Jeff Hardy and Elias. I
do look forward to Aleister Black becoming Lars Sullivan's on-screen boyfriend, though. That's good.
it's that something's up for clearly something's going to be up for Aleister. Yeah, and I heard that he asked to be on NXT and got denied. So I'm like, oh man, that seems like that's the death knell. So
how many pro baseball players who play for the Yankees go to general management and go, can I go back to development? Can I go back to the minor?
Right.
And then get denied. That's the thing. It's another false positive too, that NXT is a brand unto itself. That's a third competing brand. It's not. It's a developmental. It's for people to learn wrestling. And that false positive that they put in from Full Sail University of having these diehards go into business for themselves to get whatever indie darling over they want to, and think that that's going to transfer to the main roster. Well, you better snap out of that dream. And they learn real quick that they had them all gassed up down there. And then when you're going to pick a fight or whatever, you're knock on doors and that doesn't pan out, and you are looking for that dopamine hit where everybody was telling you were over. But the reality is that was just a plant audience that was trying to get themselves over at any cost as well. Sure, you might have good matches, but you were probably making 1/5 of the money that you are on the main roster. Now, there's no road shows, so not a lot of extra money's coming in, so I could see that. But there's no pro athlete that goes from the minors to the bigs and goes, man, I miss being in the minor leagues. That was the best time ever.
Yeah.
It's been what, 6 years since we've done the whole NXT thing. Since that started. How many times has that translated and gone over well in 6 years?
Well, really, NXT team of Adam Cole and buddies, Undisputed Era, kicked the crap out of WWE last year at this time. So they should be able to show up this weekend and take over if you really wanted to know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But to your point, Greg, I just don't, other than Roman, but he wasn't necessarily known, as an NXT guy. He had his, Liaki type of thing, but he really just came up quickly, relatively quickly after his, he wasn't necessarily known to be NXT. Seth was known, in ROH, as Tyler Black before then. So I'm thinking of like
the Y family's the only ones that translated and got over on the main roster.
Yeah.
And they still ruined that. They got there.
They ruined Ascension night one. Ascension was way better. And then they had to come out and crap on Legion of Doom instead of putting Animal with them and Animal coming out and saying, these are the guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
Used to have JBL crap on them for 3 weeks and then just
calling them wannabes and all that. If you really think of the larger scope of things, as far as just an original known NXT guy, there's because you can't count Drew because he was an NXT guy. He went back to NXT. I mean, who can you say has been like a successful, known kind of original NXT guy that's just kind of like a staple main eventer nowadays? I mean, who can you think of? I mean, you can argue Seth, but he wasn't a known original NXT guy. I mean, from the WWE he was, but he was known in ROH.
Which Seth are you talking about? The Architect, the Kingslayer, the Beast Slayer, Iowa's Own, the Man's Man, the Messiah. Which one are we talking about is over? Because I didn't see any of these get over. That's why you have switching gimmicks. So to me, none of those things are over at all.
Yeah, he's been multi-time world champion. So I guess as far as that type of credentialing, and he's a
belts are for guys who can't get over with character.
And he's been a stable main eventer, for the most part for a while. But who do you say though? Who do you say?
As far as consistency, I mean, not even a main eventer, but just someone that's just been upper mid since day one, I guess. Baron Corbin, maybe
Corbin, but he's still not a
still not great.
Yeah,
and they had that embarrassing cash in, and then just squashed by Cena.
Yeah, Cena just
came off of the program saying, "I'll do my time," but he was made as Steen too before that, and then had a good program with Cena to get him over out of there. But your point is made. It's developmental. It's not the transition to the main roster. And the guys who could transition to the main roster are someone like a Mia Yim or a Donovan Dijak that could show up as themselves easily and be out there are now labeled hockey puck and whatever maxi pad, whatever name they got.
It's terrible.
You've ruined the investment that you put into those people already. Now you're either have to cut them or you're going to have to restart them once again.
Yeah. Or end up putting them back to NXT and, admitting that you made a bad call like they did with Ember Moon and, all the other.
Breezango.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Even then, that doesn't always work. Like going back doesn't always work.
Yeah, that's true.
You just damage goods.
Yeah, it is. Same with Drake Maverick. He went back to NXT, so it's just it's unfortunate how they are doing that. And even you have a chance to make Ember Moon look good, and she lost within a few weeks after she came back, and it's like you can't even make a hot refresh. You've been gone for a year and a half just about, and you still don't look that strong after a few weeks. So, who hires these writers, Stevie?
They're from Ben's world. They're from Ben's world of improv and all this other stuff and TV writers. These are just these writers, I'm convinced, because Vince rewrites the show the day of the shows. It's a well-known fact. He just rewrites everything. They are a buffer. They're a deflection. they're there to blame. They're the scapegoats.
Mm-hmm.
They don't truly do anything. I was there in an era when there were no writers in WWE, and then writers came in, and I saw the drastic difference, and they did nothing. Honestly, they came up with ideas for their favorites or did whatever. The guy who follows Alexa Bliss around all day and writes for her, but other than that, there's nobody really doing anything there.
Wow. Next, we get Bray Wyatt defeating The Miz. We talked about that as far
as
as
shock, wasn't it?
Yes, shocking. Yeah. Prior to the match, we see a Bliss versus Nikki Cross, scuffle. Cross was trying to find Bliss, backstage, so she goes out, cuts the at the beginning of the ramp. Cross comes out. She wants her to be her BFF again. She says no, and they get in the scuffle. And again, it shows more of Alexa being a heel, but they're trying to kind of make Bray and the Fiend kind of be a face and all this. And then, of course, that leads to Bray Wyatt. Miz is a clear-cut heel. Wyatt was being fiendish. Ben, please get us out of this confusion, man.
And Nikki Cross's voice, tell us.
Lexi, you're under his spell, and I need you to be my friend once again, Lexi. You're hypnotized.
Nice.
Now you're hypnotizing me with those eyes. But luckily, we have my favorite Survivor Series team, Adam Pearce and Pat Buck, come out to break this up, and they're doing comedy kicks as she kicks her legs in the air and all this stuff that really is ridiculous and now isn't a scary thing. It isn't a slasher film anymore. It's none of those things. If anything, they should have came out and got heat on Nikki right there. Mm-hmm. And even Bray, standing over Nikki and then commanding Alexa to get more heat on her, instead of Buck and them picking it out where they're wiling out everybody and we were breaking it up. Because once you put two producer white guys in the mythic world dead, we're in wrestling and everybody's just playing Halloween dress up, and that's all it is. So this didn't do anything to add to the scene picture or the mystique that needs to be protected in a mythic type way. If anything, this was the spot where Alexa needed to get heat on Nikki and show that she's truly turned on her friend. As we go into the go home for Survivor Series, this was completely missed and possibly written at the 11th hour, like Stevie just said, in there, and wasn't thought of as to be the best choice to get the most out of it going in there. Heels need heat. Mm-hmm. That's what we need. And this didn't really put heat on her that much. And even later, she did, or it might have been before this, the flying crotch across the chest to take out Morrison. Pretty impressive as well. Yeah. I was like, oh, Morrison can be taken out by a 115-pound girl now.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to cheer and be like, oh, yeah, Alexa, when he was just beating her friend up.
He doesn't come back either. She gets up and walks the balance beam. So she beat the crap out of him. And
she killed him. That's what happened.
Killed him. One flying Rey Mysterio bump, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, that was definitely babyface. That was definitely a babyface move. You know what I mean? Like that's something that and a regular crowd would get heavily cheered. So that doesn't bring heat on you at all. Actually, yeah, it does the exact opposite.
Especially since she took down the evil banker.
They look like bankers. That's what I was thinking too. They look like bank fraud scam guys. Like, is that their new? Their 15-year mortgage guys. That's what they do now.
Cool.
Oh, that market's cornered.
Yeah. So, Greg, real quick, the Fiend being at the end of the Bray, and they go up and they kind of waltz up to the ramp. Although we already seen fiendish, signs of Bray, and he said, "You don't want to make me mad." And it used to be, "You don't want to make him mad," but now it's, "You don't want to make me mad." Why do I care about the Fiend's face going up if I'm already seeing that the Bray Wyatt is the Fiend, as opposed to before there were two different characters?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they reacted to that. They act like they didn't know that was going to happen. Like, oh, the Fiend's watching us. That's great. It's you. Yeah. It's you. I don't know. Going back to what was it when he did fighting Cena, when he was by the ring and then the Fiend appeared and it was pre-taped and all that stuff. Before they were two separate characters, right? Or were they supposed to be two separate characters, or was it just?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, because he kept saying like him. He kept saying he kept referring to the Fiend as a totally different character.
When did that switch? Because I don't know, but it's been like that for a while. I think a month or two now, where they've been the same.
Yeah.
But I don't know when the switch actually happened.
I think when he got drafted over to Raw. I think that was the distinction, because when you would see the Firefly Funhouses, he would kind of lead us up to him, like the Fiend, and now it's just kind of like it's us. It's just kind of the inner me type of thing, and I'm not really invested in that too much.
I think it was when he was taking selfies with the executive at Fox as the Fiend.
That's it.
No.
Yeah.
ESPN interview.
Oh, that was ESPN.
Yeah.
When he was on the sidelines posing as well and okay.
Yeah, I think or the baby picture.
The baby.
We're in the backstage as the Fiend.
Yeah, that was it right there.
Can't quite put our fingers on it. I wanted to say too, what would have really turned it around was having Bo Dallas dressed as the Fiend on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Now you'd be like, maybe they are two separate people.
Mm-hmm.
Ben said that all along to make them two separate people.
I think Bo Dallas. I'm wondering why Bo Dallas isn't involved in this. It just doesn't make any sense to me why he has no affiliation with this right now.
I heard the big thing is he just doesn't believe enough in the angle, and he believes in both the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, and the believability is just not there.
Wow.
Well, no one believes anymore. So
no, nobody does.
He doesn't believe. Next, we have Adam Pearce announcing Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. Talked about that joining. Angel Garza promo. Ben, where are we going with Angel Garza?
Oh, I mean, this is right out of the wheelhouse of them hiring reality show writers who know nothing about wrestling, and they also know nothing about protecting a guy who has a tough time with broken English.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do anything here, you roll the music underneath. You don't do a predicated plotty promo with him talking to women about double entendre of thorns and roses analogies where he can barely understand what he's saying himself until we get the beauty shot of him holding a rose at the end. We need to show, don't tell. We need to say somebody insulting someone who may not be that good looking. Shayna Baszler. What if somebody's cracking on Team Pretty and he comes to their aid and says, I think all women are beautiful. Don't let them ever talk down to you, my love. And he gives her the rose and he keeps building up. You know what I mean? As far as that, we need to stop doing plot. We need show, don't tell.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to do that over there. And I wouldn't doubt, I don't know what the reality show is, what the name it was, is it a Bachelor where he gives her the rose, all these chicks they bring in and somebody gets the rose that night and gets to go drink with them. I don't know. But whoever that was a writer on that show, is now a writer in the WWE room.
What about the fact that I have a formula that they've gotten it backwards, that after Garza's been on TV for 8 or 9 or 10 months, they run the vignettes.
Yeah.
Like the vignettes come after your debut.
Right. That's very bad.
Well, then Bianca.
Right? She's a track star. Well, then what they're going to do is
Pursuit too. Don't forget about that.
They'll put it all in one world. He'll give her the rose. The girl will be like, oh, I like you. And then he'll rip his pants off in front of her and show him his wang as well. So we're not going to like transition into the romantic, Latin lover. We got to get the rip.
So now he's straight up just going to be the whatever sexual assaulter on the roster.
Here's the rose.
I mean, now I'm excited. Now I'm pretty much ready for this. Let's go.
Angel
Naked Median 2020. Let's get this going.
There you go. Yeah, Naked Median. There you go. Yeah, I think it's a good point as far as like after all the you've been there almost a year, and then you bring in the vignettes. That's very backwards. It's like that would be the same thing as like bringing in Alberto Del Rio, and then almost a year later, giving him the vignettes. I think the vignettes really helped someone like a Del Rio, someone like a Razor Ramon. Those vignettes really help them, carve into and really kind of hate their character. I mean, the very pompous and someone loved
Razor Ramon back in the day. All those promos. Stevie, who we've named them on Russo Brand a bunch where they've done this. You just said EST, right? She was out with the Street Profits. We knew who she was. But now we're going to get these track star promos, by the way, which have nothing to do with anything. And then we're going to have these guys on camera for 3 months, and then we'll reintroduce them as who they are. Well, we already know.
Well, even Big Show, after 20 years, they gave him some vignettes. And, in Alberto Del Rio's defense, no pun intended, I just want to say that, I would be interested if they brought him back right now. That would be, I would watch.
That is must-watch TV,
yeah, for sure. But that would be for another reason. You don't need yes for that. He's just
well, you really wouldn't. At least it wouldn't be predictable.
Yeah, that's true.
Just have him run from the law as a fugitive, and he's hiding backstage all the time. You like what they should do with Orange Cassidy, where you open a closet and Alberto Del Rio's in there going shh, and they close the closet. That's all you need to see him. He's just hiding from the law.
Yeah. That's bringing reality into a fiction there for sure. That's life imitating art. Yeah. Next we have backstage promo with Jackson, Baszler, and Royce and Evans. That was just a throwaway. All right, so let's end up with McIntyre and Orton. So McIntyre wins. I think based on what we personally, I'll say, based on what we kind of saw the build on SmackDown kind of last week, is kind of like that unwritten official rule. Whoever has the most upper hand before the match is typically the one who's going to lose. And Orton has been having an upper hand a lot of times. And for some reason, it seemed like McIntyre was going to win this one. Stevie, why do you think that they even did the title switch to begin with?
Well, the original plan was to have Orton and Edge at WrestleMania, like we talked about earlier. Maybe they just realized that would not be where we want to go, and this whole show feels like they switched course on a ton of different stuff.
Yeah, kind of same day. It felt like a same day switch course.
Like everything, you really went 180 on everything. I had a thought, I was like, oh my god, Drew's music was playing forever, and I usually think they're killing time, but he had that huge sword, and I'm like, dude, if he accidentally cut himself with the sword or something, I'm not kidding either. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm like, dude, his music played for a good 90 seconds to 2 minutes before he came out. I thought something was wrong. So thank God he's okay. He's a good dude, but I mean, here we go again. With Scottish swords and old chests shipped from Europe.
We skipped right over Greg's favorite segment. He was texting everybody saying, "Did you see that? They had a trunk full of stuff on Raw."
It's perfect.
My grandma, she skipped right over off PBS. What could be in that trunk to take to the Antiques Roadshow? Yeah. Wow. Cutting edge stuff, everybody. Hey, look, it's his old gear from OVW. Wow. Yeah.
And you know what? Just pulled that thing off, and he goes, "Oh, is this what I think it is?" Like, how do you know? What do you mean? Is this what you think it is?
What do you think, Greg? He's got 17 chests laying around his house. He doesn't know which chest it is. Doesn't know which pirate's chest to open up.
Look, I'm not going to judge how the man lives. All right, that's what he has at the house. Is fine.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was trying to find good parts of the show because I was so checked out, and I was like, okay, well, if you want to give him this big kind of return to his past, bring in the familial elements and things like that, why would you do that on a Raw? Wouldn't that be like a WrestleMania thing if you want to put the dagger in, if you want to put the Claymore type of, Excalibur, reverse Excalibur type of thing?
The stone to get your entrance over. I couldn't have pyro till I hit this.
Right.
She goes.
It's really a really weird convoluted pyro system we have here.
Those pyro guys, the pyro guys on Raw tonight worked on Building 7.
Yeah.
They worked really fast.
The guys in the back were like, he's unlocked the magic pyro.
Yeah.
He's the chosen one. Like,
It's in this particular spot. You got to hit it right there. That sword, and it unlocks the pyro as soon as you put it down. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I think if you want to put all the belt, to me, here's the thing: if you want to put all the bells and whistles in it, I think the Raw kind of messes it up to me. Like if you want him to be champion and kind of go back to his roots and all that, I think you kind of have to bring some more equity in that, not just some type of backstage, here's your treasure chest from when you were 22 years old in England type of thing. In Scotland we used to have a few pints, remember this, like it just didn't make any sense to me. Ben?
They came across the ocean in a steamer together.
Yeah.
They won their ticket in a poker game, and they got on the ship and they made it to America together. And they look at that; it's the Statue of Liberty together. They're in bagpipes and all. They changed it, dude. Just like
it's the Empire State Building. It's the Sears Tower.
You don't think they're gonna recycle the Highlander vignettes with these two guys?
I can see that.
Oh, it's coming
from Braveheart. He goes from Braveheart to Gangs in New York in the same, like there's 300 years, 400 years difference there. Right. But they're all the same, bro.
Yeah. To your point, Stevie, I could definitely see some Highlander type vignettes coming back. Since the theme of the Legion of Raw is reverse vignettes, I could definitely see some type of reverse vignette to go with.
I can't wait for your first show to come out in about 6 months, Chris.
If
you go by their formula, you're going to debut. Yeah, 2021, right. Legion of Raw debuts.
Right.
After.
Yeah, this has been months in the making. I've been a podcaster for 8.5 years now, but then I'll start doing vignettes in about 6 months. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
How about the fact that Pierce comes out and makes this no DQ? If that's me, I'm going to get the sword and I'm going to stab him. It's no DQ.
Right. I'm gonna give you a real Claymore here.
Right. That's the rule in wrestling. You don't bring a sword or anything or a gun to the ring, because now it's a weapon, and if they see it, you got to use it.
Yeah.
So you don't come out with a prop that's a sword and then especially make it no DQ when he could go pull it out, turn the pyro off, and come back a hot one with it. So, these props are just outlandish to even have out there, and then to up the stakes in the middle to no DQ to make it more hardcore. Well, and that was the other thing. These guys are fighting on the tables. Meanwhile, we see Nia Snax put Lana through it 9 times in a row, and the table breaks like that. Here's two 240-pound guys on it beating the hell out of each other, and the table don't move a lick. Yeah. So that might mean that she's a deuce and a half when she hits that baby. I don't know, whatever it is. But
so do you think that the table's rigged now for that particular spot?
Got a pulpit. Well, I mean, she hits it with a lot of force. There's a lot of girthquake hitting that, and so
Lana's $125, and she's what, 270 or so. So that's
don't ask him that question.
So that's about 400 pounds going down. So
270. Wow, you're generous.
Either that or those guys put the table up are just really upset about this. Like, all right, for the last time, this table is not going down. I'm getting tired of this.
Yeah, I think they built her as 270.
All right, one last thing he's got to do his Nia impression too.
Okay, go for it.
270. Are you single? I think you're beautiful.
Congratulations to everybody who's listened or on this show for never getting a job with WWE. Appreciate it.
First time
I'm a doctor. I'm good. I wouldn't go to WWE if I was asked. So
my parents always wanted me to marry a doctor.
My wife is, no disrespect to Nia Jax. My wife is a billion times hotter. So, no, thank you, Nia.
I'm big and beautiful.
Since we're in impressions as we're closing, man, what else you got, man?
Well, you can hear us on Master Shoot Theater, and I do a variety from Vince McMahon to your local terrorist, to the Bella twins, to whoever's got the most annoying voice or whoever is playing the highest stereotype to ruin their entire race. I'm happy to join in and perpetuate that, because there's nothing funnier than high-level stereotypical racism inside of a wrestling bubble where people are completely clueless to the outside world. And I love pointing a finger at it every week.
Yes. you just ride the wave. You just
shut his video off for some reason, Ben. What's going on there?
Camera went off.
His wife, who is that woman in there talking to you?
Got nicer hair to me. I hate him. Look at him.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. So Stevie, go ahead and promote your stuff, man. What you got going? I know you're Russo's brand. I know you're some big fitness guru, man. You make DDP look like a squirreling weasel. What you got going on, man?
Of course. Thank you. I'll get a text now tomorrow about that. Stevie Richards Fitness. I seriously strive to have the most affordable, accessible workout programs out there. There's all resistance band and body weight based. See, I'm not good at this stuff. Resistance band and body weight based programs. Very affordable, lifetime access. If anybody has any questions, Stevie Richards Fitness at gmail.com. Also, if you want to start your home gym, if you want to build a garage gym, the code is Stevie5, Stevie and the number 5 at forceusa.com. I'll just say this one thing. People probably know this. They're locking it down again. So if you don't count on Planet Fitness opening back up or any of these other places, lots of people are really being proactive with that. So remember, my stuff is digital. You can always get it. You just got to get the resistance bands. Or if you want to build out a whole home gym and say, screw Planet Fitness, Stevie5 at forceusa.com.
Nice. I am an avid gym goer. I go 5 days a week. I am not going to be happy when they shut down Planet Fitness. I hope they don't. But I got some bands. But I'm gonna get with you, man.
I'll send you whatever you need, Chris. Both you guys.
I appreciate it. It seems like it seems like it's inevitable. So, man, I'm gonna get to you, man, because I love working out. So I was a personal trainer for almost 10 years, and then I got real fat and gained a bunch of weight, and I've lost 64 pounds. So
I definitely want your feedback since you're a former trainer and you work out. I'd love to get your feedback on the programs.
Sounds good, man. Yeah. Ben, speaking of trainers, who you training? I'm the king of, see, by the way, Ben, I am the king of the most randomest awkward segues. So that's something I do.
Training, man. Most of my staff at Hamin Media Group, and they're hitting home runs right now. We've built a great community out of the highest level wrestling fans. If that's not an oxymoron, I don't know what it is. But the most dedicated wrestling fans are at Hamin Media Group, and just free content every day. You can add it on your iTunes feed. Hacker Hamin is our main channel. That's Hacker Hamin. And then we also have Hamin Media Group affiliate channel where we're covering every wrestling review show. We have Monday, Wednesday, Friday locker rooms with veteran talent. Then we have spin-off shows covering Star Trek, Star Wars, South Park. The Conspiracy Horseman is our big flagship show as well. That's Stevie, Big Sal from ECW, FBI, and the Greek God Popping on myself, talking to some of the highest level guests, 9/11 architects and engineers, Richard Gage, Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat. John McAfee, who's currently in jail on tax evasion and is a billionaire tech giant. So it's just a very unique look into the world of conspiracy and what's going on through the eyes of four workers. And you can catch us every Wednesday night, twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Add us on your Twitch channel. And you're going to hear some things that you need to hear in this climate. And you're going to hear it from workers who look at things a different way. But my platform is completely free. I believe in free and independent media. So Hacker Hamin on your iTunes feed, Hamin Media Group. We appreciate you guys subscribing and becoming a part of the best wrestling community with the best veteran voices, a sister to Russo brand as well.
Nice. Before I get to Greg, Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So basically what is happening now is that you're looking at the locker room, okay?
You're looking at him, pal. You're looking. There's nobody left. Only me. I'm going out there. WrestleMania.
This is the Survivor Series day. You're looking at the locker room. You're giving us a pep talk.
Yeah.
Vince, what do you have to say?
Some of us aren't going to survive out there today, folks. You've seen the goddamn ratings going down week after week, and somebody's job might be on the line. It might be you, Deucey. It might be me. You never know who it's going to be, but it might be Raw Underground or Retribution. So I want you to get out there and do what you got to do, but no matter what you do, at the end of the day, give somebody a rose and take off your pants, because that's the only way we're going to get these viewers back, pal.
There you go. That's good stuff, pal.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Look at this guy. Let's get him in. Let's get him in the goddamn Hurt Business.
Oh gosh, you went off the rails.
We need a doctor in the Hurt Business.
All right, clean us up with the PG version, Greg, of your promotion. What do you got going on?
I knew he couldn't last forever.
All right. Even though I get in the zone and I can't even think of it.
I see.
I gotta follow that. Come on, man. That's not fair. That's ridiculous. You can follow me and a few of my friends. We talk about wrestling, WWE, Impact, Ring of Honor, all the good stuff at Under the Ring Pod. That's twitch.tv/Under the Ring Pod. You can also follow us at Facebook, facebook.com/Under the Ring Pod. We're going to be branching out to do more stuff besides wrestling. We'll be talking about politics, kind of sports, entertainment stuff in general. So go give us a like, give us a follow, and sorry if we take anybody off. That's we're usually drunk. Those things happen. So oops.
Got it. All right. On behalf of Stevie Richards, Ben Hamin down there, and Greg Bush over here, I'm Dr. Chris Featherstone. Follow me at Chris Prolific on social media platforms. It's been a fun ride, man. I appreciate the 4-man traditional Survivor Series team for this week. I think Vince will make I think you guys made Vince proud, and I think you guys were fantastic replacement for him, and you did a great job. So I really appreciate you having fun with me tonight, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome.
Thanks, Doc. I want you to take a look at this thing when we go off camera here, so don't go anywhere. I want to show you something.
Sounds
I'm
good.
show you his head.
Don't be angel guards on me. All right, everybody. On behalf of everybody on the panel, this is Legion of Raw, and always remember, oh, what a rush. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.